Welcome to Face to Face, connecting theater makers to the public, a program from the Legacy Theater and socialdistancetheater.org.
Hello, I'm Colin Sheehan, and welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Today's guest made his Broadway debut in 1991 as Colin, ooh, I love that name, in The Secret Garden, and then went on to appear in Wicked and Xanadu. He has performed in Brantford at one of our Legacy Theater galas, and we have traveled the world together with our family vacations and on Broadway cruises. Please welcome my friend, Marty Thomas. Hi, Marty.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. It's good to see you.
Likewise, dude. We go back a long way.
Oh my gosh, many moons ago. I think I first met you at one of Rosie's galas at the Zipper Theater.
It's true. It was we were filming the pilot for her variety show.
Right. I remember that. So where are you quarantining and how are you holding up?
I'm doing pretty good, considering I'm in Manhattan. I never left New York. I live in Hell's Kitchen, and I love it here. It was rough in the beginning. It's gotten a lot more chill in New York. I know that a lot of the world thinks that New York is a disaster and a dumpster fire right now, but I feel like the media is misrepresenting us quite a bit. It's pretty normal here, and everybody's just out and about trying to make a living and trying to get by and pivot. And for the most part, I'm holding up pretty well. I'm being inventive and creative in finding opportunities to perform and create, and trying to learn new skills along the way.
Like I mentioned in your intro, you made your Broadway debut in The Secret Garden as a young child. What was that like, and when did you realize you wanted to become a performer?
You know, I've been a performer since, I don't remember not performing. I grew up in the church, in a Southern Baptist church, where music was really celebrated and it was really put on a pedestal. And music was just always a part of my life because of church. So early on, I spent singing mostly gospel and contemporary Christian music and country music because I grew up on a farm in Northwest Missouri. And I loved performing. And I feel like the community really got behind me in such an interesting way of trying to help me to find opportunities. There was I did a production of Annie at Starlight Theater in Kansas City, where the young girl who played Annie was a Broadway actress, and she had an agent, and she hooked me up with her agent, who presented the idea of bringing me to New York to audition to my parents. And somehow my parents figured that out in a time before the internet. And we came for a weekend to audition for Broadway musicals, which we didn't know what Broadway was at the time. And I booked The Secret Garden, and we moved here a week later, my mom and I. And much of the experience is like kind of a movie, watching it through a lens, because it was just all so surreal. But so much of the experience completely changed me and made me who I am today, in opening up my mind and opening up my experiences and showing me what my potential was.
And then the next year, you got on a little show called Star Search. You were only 12 years old.
I was.
And you happened to beat out Britney Spears?
Wild, right?
What was that? You know, I was on TV as a kid too. What was that experience like for you, just being on like one of the most popular shows and having that experience at such a young age?
It truly was a dream come true. Kids in the 80s and 90s who were performers, just, that was it. It was our American Idol. It was our ticket. So to be on that show was a huge honor. And obviously this was years before Britney Spears was the Britney Spears that we know and love today. So we were just kids who really saw eye to eye and had a lot in common, that we had dreams and goals, and we loved working on the arts and working on skills. And so we were just really good friends who happened to be on the same episode. And we remained very supportive of each other after.
Do you have a memorable audition story that you can share with our viewers?
Memorable audition story. I have so many forgettable audition stories. Memorable, I think, was In My Life, the Broadway musical.
I saw that. I was at opening night.
Yes, the writer and composer of the show, as we know what the show was about and what his background is. He was, words are escaping me, the affliction where a person screams out, help me, Colin.
Yeah. Tourette's.
Thank you. The writer had Tourette's, and I feel like, I went through a long audition process for the show, and I'm fairly certain that by the time we got to the full table where everyone was in the room, everyone else had been warned that he had Tourette's. I was not. And he started screaming during my song, and I have a fear of loud noises and screaming. It really kind of shuts me down, which makes living in New York difficult. But I fled. I didn't know what else to do, and fight or flight took over, and I just left and never looked back.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Wow.
No one told me.
I know you were in Xanadu, but there's sort of a crazy story there too, right?
I mean, sort of. I had an injury while I was in the show. I fractured both my ankles. And, I was out of the show for quite some time. But it was, a lot of people were injuring themselves. It was a roller skating show. And for the most part, it was just a minor setback. I was able to come back into the show, and a year later, Xanadu was a brilliant time.
Yeah, it was a great show. So you've also done TV and film, including Grace and Frankie, Two Broke Girls, to name a couple. What's the difference between working in theater and on-camera work? And do you prefer one or the other?
I love live theater. There's something that you just can't duplicate live theater in any way. No TV show or movie about live theater has ever, in my eyes, been able to depict what it's truly like to work in the theater and to be able to replicate a show night after night after night to audiences. Theater is so unique, but TV has craft services and TV has residuals. So artistically, there's nothing like theater. Financially, there's nothing like TV.
Totally get it. Totally get it. You wear many hats like I do. I mean, you're also a very talented hairstylist and wig designer. What shows have you designed wigs for, and how did you find that you had a passion for that?
I was kind of in a point in my career where I was at an impasse of sitting on the fence between chorus boy and man, an adult actor. And I was having a moment of confusion where I fit, and I wasn't sure where to place myself. So I made a conscious decision to sort of take myself out of theater and working for a minute, to investigate what else I'm interested in. Because I've been a working actor and a performer since I was a little boy. I've never really given any other passions an opportunity to thrive. And I'd always been very interested in fashion and beauty and that industry. So I did a lot of soul searching and visited a lot of schools and decided to go to hair school. Just to take a year, learn a new skill, develop a new passion, and give myself possibilities, which I'm so glad I did, because I learned a lot about myself while I was doing it. And it's turned into a very viable side hustle. I feel like all of my side hustles are full-time hustles. But I started working on Lion King on Broadway, and I did Aladdin on Broadway, and The King and I designed Marvelous Wonderettes and Clockwork Orange off Broadway, and several other shows. And I've designed wigs for drag queens and for TV performers. And it's just taken me into a complete new world of creativity.
I love the hustle.
Yeah.
I love it. So we like to give our viewers a little peek behind the curtain and get the inside scoop. So I'm going to ask you some questions like, what was your worst onstage mishap?
I mean, I've had several, but my worst was, I was 12. I was doing The Secret Garden. And as a child actor, you're given a lot of responsibility and expectations that perhaps somebody should be double checking your work. And I got dressed and didn't put on a mic. That just forgot I put on the band in my hairline and no microphone, and I got on stage and couldn't figure out why my mic wasn't on and why nobody could hear me. And I figured it out at the same time that Daisy Egan, who was playing Mary opposite me, figured it out. And she was just wise beyond her years as a 12-year-old actress. And she kept finding ways to lean into me and changed her blocking so that I could be picked up by her mic. It was both genius and terrifying at the same time.
That's crazy that she knew to do that at that young of age.
Yeah, and once I was running out on stage, there's my character Colin in The Secret Garden is a boy in a wheelchair. And through the show, the magic of the garden and Mary's belief in him and the fact that he wasn't actually ill, he starts to walk and starts to thrive in the garden that they share. And at the end of the show, the big reveal is he runs on stage pushing Mary with the wheelchair. Well, our show was on a rake, which is a tilted stage. And I dumped her out of the chair on accident. It tipped, and she came very close to rolling into the orchestra pit. Another moment I'll never forget of just being horrified.
And all at 12 years old.
At 12! At the time, it just felt like, it felt very normal. And now I look back on it and I'm like, at 12, that's a lot.
You had to grow up really quickly.
Truth.
Do you have a favorite onstage moment or like gigging or Broadway?
I have so many favorite moments in my career on stage. I've been very fortunate, but one that always sticks out to me and will live on as one of my favorite moments in my career was recording Billy Porter's album On the Corner of Broadway and Soul. It was a live concert at Joe's Pub that they recorded. And it was, I was one of his 3 backup singers, and then the entirety of Broadway Inspirational Voices were there. And we recorded Billy and James Sampliner's arrangement of Sunday, from Sunday in the Park with George. And it was just a feeling of being in the room where it happens and being in the right place at the right time and feeling like I had arrived and was creating something so important. And of course, that album has gone on to be something so important within and out of the industry.
That song, viewers, find that song, Sunday, Billy Porter. I mean, the last Broadway Inspirational Voices, the whole song is amazing. The last 45 seconds is out of this world.
Truly is. It's when I hear it, when it pops up in public or when it comes on Spotify or something, I'm just dazzled at what, I say we created, truly what Billy and James Sampliner, 2 absolute geniuses, created. I hope you can see my dogs going crazy behind me.
Love him.
That's Disco on my bed, and that's Uncle Charlie.
Disco and Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, I've got a bird around here somewhere.
They needed to make an appearance on Face to Face. I love it.
Of course they did.
Do you have a favorite backstage moment, either a tradition or a quick change or watching another performer?
So many. I mean, I was in the early days of Wicked, so I got to see all of the iconic Elphabas and Glindas do their thing and all of the standbys and understudies that were so tremendous. It was always exciting to see somebody go on for the first time. And in all the shows I've done, my memories of Wicked always stand out. We had a moment, Megan Sikora, who's a Broadway legend, we had a moment stage left, we called it Stage Left Productions, right after Bach came off stage with Nessa Rose when they were getting ready for the Ozfest Ballroom. And we every day would put together a skit that was about 15 to 20 seconds long, trying to make the actors playing Bach and Nessa laugh and the other ensemble members. That was our entire intention, was just to give them a giggle. And we got very creative with that, with props and wigs.
So do you have a dream role that you would hope to play one day?
Gosh, those are always the toughest questions because I've always sort of fallen in the cracks of the beauty and the hindrance of being unique. And I cherish that I'm unique, but it's also made it very difficult for me to fit into traditional boxes of roles. I love playing Marty Thomas. I love doing concert work and I love being myself. I don't feel like my dream role has been written yet. There are many songs that I love to sing and many shows that I just am obsessed with. But as far as a dream role, I haven't found it yet.
Okay, what about a dream role of the opposite sex that you wish to play? You're like, this one's easy.
Yeah, there are many. Come on, Elphaba, Waitress. There are many shows that I can relate to. Carmen Cusack in Bright Star. Just so many roles that I relate to so heavily of female actors, which I think is very common for gay men, and for it's easy to fall into that what if possibility. Yes, there are many dream roles that are played by women, but I feel like we're a distant ways away from sex blind casting.
I agree. I
think it's high time that people consider it, because there are many roles who it would make perfect sense to switch genders. But I feel like
I was just talking to Stephanie Gibson, and she was like, I would love to play the MC in Cabaret.
And that makes complete sense. Why would they not have an MC in Cabaret? I mean, that's a role that I would love to play as well, but I would love to be Sally Bowles as well. So Gibson is honestly one of my favorite humans.
She's the best, and she just moved around here to Guilford, so she's neighbors with me now.
She's just a brilliant light.
Yeah, she's so nice and so talented.
It's incredibly.
I know a bunch of celebrities come to Broadway shows, they visit backstage, they take the photo op, or you've worked with celebrities. Do you have a favorite celebrity story or moment that you could share?
Working with Whoopi Goldberg on Xanadu was just unforgettable. She's such a cool human, and Xanadu was such a small, intimate environment in a small theater, so we were just kind of on top of each other. And I've done so many musicals or concerts where the celebrity guests or the celebrity stars are separated from the rest of the company and you don't get to interact. But the way we got to ask candid questions about Whoopi's unreal career was life-changing. I remember sitting in the green room and Cheyenne was asking her a lot of questions about Sister Act and Color Purple and her career, and just the humility with which Whoopi would answer questions was so inspiring. It was magic. And of course I got to do Wicked with Rue McClanahan, which I got to work with a Golden Girl. But there have been so many just incredible experiences. I got to sing backup for Barry Manilow. I just can't even pinpoint one. I've had so much good fortune.
Okay, and our last question. If you could have dinner with 3 different people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dinner with 3 different people. Celine Dion, first and foremost, because I've got questions. I would like to have dinner with her. I would like to have dinner with Barack and Michelle Obama. Those are my 3. The Obamas and Celine Dion.
Those are some good people.
Yeah, can you imagine that dinner table?
Where would you go? Joe Allen?
We would have to go somewhere very interesting. Maybe the Rainbow Room.
Yes.
We would have to go somewhere very private and shishi and fancy so that we could all get dressed up and wear like Sunday hats or something.
I love that. You have a bunch of albums and singles and things out. Where can people find out more about you, follow you on social media?
You can find the whole spiel on my website, martythomas.com. I'm on all the digital platforms, Spotify and iTunes and Amazon Music. And I just released an album this year called Slow Dancing with a Boy on Broadway Records. But of course I have my dance music that I was Grammy nominated for, and my debut album that I recorded over a decade ago, and so many singles between. I just released a duet with Rachel Potter, a mashup of a Taylor Swift song and a song from Waitress. And I've got so much music out there, and I just love your support.
Thanks. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview today, and we hope to see you soon at Legacy Theater. And we will see you guys on the next episode of Face to Face. Bye.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you for joining us on Face to Face. We would like to thank our sponsors, Oak Tree Development and the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, and Brad Ross for the themed music. You can follow us on legacytheaterct.org.